So, Kat, to begin off, like more in depth into the podcast, as Shashwat already mentioned, obviously you're in the electrical field for engineering, right? So, with
Yes.
many specializations available, right? What were the factors, or like what made you specifically like narrow down onto electrical engineering? Would you mind sharing that with us?
So I actually was, when I was in high school, I was between studying physics or electrical engineering. For me, electricity has always been such an amazing thing. And it's also always been that one thing that I couldn't figure out. I didn't have the way to know it all, right? So when I got to physics and I started studying electricity and magnetism, I just fell in love. And so that's sort of when I decided that I absolutely wanted to go into electricity in some way. I didn't know at the time if I wanted it to be a little bit more applied or a little bit more theoretical.
Hmm.
So eventually I did decide that I liked the applied side a little bit better, which is why I went with electrical engineering. But my love for electricity has been there pretty much all my life. I've been obsessed with it always.
I 100% agree with you. For me, I would say it's not the exact same thing for engineering. What got me into engineering, I would say was robotics. Because I'll be honest with you, up until grade 12, second semester, I had no idea where I wanted to be within life.
Yeah.
And that was my biggest, I was really scared. I really didn't know where my life was gonna go. I was really scared. So out of nowhere, I decided to join the robotics club in my school, and that kind of that kind of was that point that I was like, all right, this is what I want to do with my life, and that's what kind of got me into engineering. What about you guys?
So I've kind of mentioned this before in the podcast. I would like, to be honest, Kat, like up until the last point when we were like getting to uni, I was in the medical field. I had accepted all my med based admissions and stuff. But like last minute, I made a switch up to computer engineering, right? As Mebin also mentioned, in high school, I have been part of my robotics team. We had like a coding team that we set up to teach people who don't know how to code in Python, language and stuff. So like, uh, engineering, the concept of engineering has always existed for me, and I had some kind of an interest, but like I was never willing to like search more into it, right? And I kind of threw myself into it when it came to uni time. But so far, it's mid almost finishing up the first semester of second year, it has been like pretty good. So yeah, I'm happy that I made this choice for sure.
Yeah, for me, I think I was in the same boat kind of thing. But for me, like, I knew it was either like electrical engineering or computer engineering. I decided to pick computer engineering because I kind of fell in love in like the coding side as well. So I wanted to do both in a sense, right? So that's why I ended up picking computer engineering, right? So that's my story. Like I was also part of the robotics team with Mebin, tech design club, computer science club. So like those are like those application sides kind of uh
Talking about that,
made me
Shashwat,
go to like the
Kat,
computer engineering side. But
what
yeah,
made you
electrical engineering
choose
was also
specifically
an option for
electrical
me too.
engineering? And would you say there's like a very big difference from, let's say, electrical to computer or like the other fields of engineering?
My degree was when I started at UCLA, it was electrical engineering. UCLA separated their majors in that way. However, by the time that I graduated, they had merged into electrical and computer engineering. So when I graduated with also the computer aspect of it as part of my degree. So I mean, from the classes that I took with other students that were doing computer engineering, really a lot of the basics are very, very similar, right? We still both take the circuits classes, we still both take the programming classes. I think really it just depends on what it is that you want to do with it. If you want to specifically work with computers, or for example, like me, I don't really have a specific preference to designing or testing computers. I just like hardware in general. So that's why I decided to go a little bit more general when I first started.